Welcome to the 10-Acre Woods. My name's Mark, and it is a beautiful day out. It's supposed to be above zero all weekend, above freezing, for the highs anyway. I've got all these sheep here checking out to see what's going on. So we have Turbo, we have Lambert, and we have Tinker. They're all so demanding. So I've been getting a bunch of questions about the types of animals that we've had, and we should get these kind of animals and those kind. We have had quite a few animals in the past, so I figured I'd kind of run down, starting from the beginning in around 2002, 2003, is when we started really getting some animals set up. And we started by that building right over there. So that was the first rabbit hutch that we built. And then we built on this rabbit hutch over here and then closed the two in. Now you can see kind of back there, we'll go over there in a minute to check out Carl, Billy, and Manya. But the chicken coop used to be in that blank spot right there. And this past summer we pushed it back to rearrange and do some, do some rearranging. Just for expansion and with all the chickens that we have and getting everybody all set up. So we started out, the first animals we had, well, it's kind of vague. It was about 2003. We got a few different type at that time. So one of the questions was pigeons. I did a pigeon video in January, the end of January, and somebody had commented, well, you should get some fancy pigeon breeds. Those would be really neat. And we actually have had fancy pigeons. So in fancy pigeons, one of them was the Old Dutch Capuchin, I think I'm saying that correctly, Capuchin pigeon. And we also had the lacquer shield pigeon and the old German owl. Now we had those back in our original chicken coop, but before that we actually had those inside our house. We had built a cage in our bedroom that had housed these, actually the two different breeds. We had, I believe it was the lacquer shield and the old German owls at that time in the house. And it was nice. They were a little messy, and that's why we kind of moved them outside the following year. Now in those rabbit hutches there, we had rabbits. We started out with one rabbit hutch and soon found we needed a second rabbit hutch. You know, go figure, boys and girls. And we started, breeding some rabbits, having some babies. It was cute. A woman across the highway was actually a buyer for Petland. And she came over and visited us and said, hey, we're looking for some rabbits. Maybe we'll buy some off you. As time goes on, we got into the animal rescue and realized, we don't want to breed animals. There's too many animals out there. So, our selective breeding kind of took place. We breed, or of course, hatch chickens. So, that's one thing that is a staple that a lot of people are looking for. Now, having those, we had the rabbits, we had the pigeons, and we had some ducks. So we started off with Muscovy Ducks. We had a pair. We had Daisy and Donald. Of course, who can't name your duck Donald? That's probably the #1 name for a duck. And they had a young, one hatched out. We were so excited, and her name was Snowy. And Tiana had taken a liking to this. So she had Snowy inside the house, and she would be eating off of her plate when she had a salad, follow her around the house, and it was quite the cute sight. So let's go up front and see Carl, Billy, and Manya and see what they're doing. Hi, Billy. What's up, bud? Enjoying out in the weather, the nice weather. Carl, welcome back. and Manya. How you doing, Manya? How's Manya today? Are you enjoying the boys? Are they bugging you, or are you guys getting along great? I think you're getting along great. Yeah. So this is the old chicken coop. Here, Tara put a board up because Manya was going in there, and the floor of this building isn't the best. We've had a little bit of rot in there, and we didn't want her to get stuck. So up in this area, this is where we had the pigeons. Originally, we had some nest boxes along the bottom here, and then another row above it. And when we moved the pigeons out, we took out that top row, and we cut a hole in the back, which was actually an air vent at one point. And then they could fly out and fly around the yard. So the question is, where are they now? Where are the capuchins, the lacquer shields, and the old German owls? Well, in flying around, we had a bad year. Bad year for crows, that is. What had happened was the crows came around and they started plucking off the pigeons one by one until they eventually took them all out. And it happened so fast that we didn't even really realize what was happening. Probably over the course of a few days, they came in and they took them all out. So it was very nice seeing them fly around. And unfortunately, the crows came in, and you know, that's the way nature works. The prey and the hunter and the prey. So they were gone, and we didn't have a whole lot of those. We had not nearly as many pigeons as we have now. Now, I've been trying to look and see what type of pigeons they are that we have. I think they're pretty much just a cross breed. I did see a few different types of pigeons online. They're similar, but I think they're just mutts. What are you doing? Is that good? You enjoy that? And then I got Carl back here. So it's always exciting in here with these guys. Carl, what are you doing? What are you doing, Carl? All right, so Manya. Manya is not quite sure exactly, but a miniature horse, as far as we know. It's kind of a cross between. What's the difference between a miniature horse and a pony? Well, maybe you can tell me in the comments below. So, where did we start with our horses and ponies? The first one we had was a pony named Smoke, and he was actually a Shetland pony, which there's not a lot of Shetland ponies around. These boys. So a Shetland pony, and then we got in a miniature horse, which was basically the same size. You could probably say miniature horse or pony almost interchangeably. But her name was Star, and we got her in, I believe it was from... Stop it, Billy. Ow! Okay, watch those horns, buddy. Okay, getting along here. So we had Star. Star had a small colt, which we rehomed him. And he actually went home in the back of a PT Cruiser, a hatchback. So that was kind of interesting seeing him get locked up into the back there, which it was perfect. He was the perfect size to fit right in the back, and the back hatch closed and contained him very nicely for his drive home. So we had Storm and we had Big Joe. So Storm came in, Tara went off to the auction and picked up Storm, bid on her, and apparently there was a lot of people there that were looking to buy horses for dog food. I guess that's a lot of the places that horses go from auctions is to dog food, unfortunately. So she fell in love with Storm, brought her home, and did some training with her. We set up a round ring in the front yard, and I'm still getting, if I'm moving around, it's Carl that's pushing me around. Tara actually got thrown from Storm and got injured pretty badly a couple years ago. And Tiana wanted a horse, so that's where Joe came in. We went down, and of course we actually put the horse before the cart, meaning our trailer was too small. We bought the trailer first, and and then we went and we tried to pick up Joe. Joe was just too big, 18 hands, or 6 feet to the top of the withers. Now he was a big boy. Storm went off to a wonderful new farm, and Joe went off to a homestead up north in the Interlake region in Manitoba, and he's actually working on a homestead. Okay, well let's head out of here. These boys are just being too rambunctious. I'm gonna have, see, I'm gonna have to change because they're jumping up on me and pushing. You guys are just way too friendly. Aren't you? Aren't you? Yes. Okay. How's Lucy doing? Are you making new friends with your little roosters? Hey, are you making little friends? The little Cerama roosters. So they're just hanging out freely in the barn. Who's making noise? Oh, Fernando, what are you doing? You're looking all pretty. Pretty boy. And how are the girls doing? So we're going to be keeping an eye on these girls. Now, of course, for those of you who don't know, I have a camera system set up over here and everything good. I did a live stream test. It was a little lower resolution than I hoped. I had a couple comments of some people saying that, it's only 240 lines of resolution. But I actually have, this morning I was talking to another internet service provider and possibly getting a lot faster speed out here. So we're going to check in on that. He's going to come out tomorrow and do some surveying, which is going to be yesterday from when this video comes out. And hopefully we'll be able to get a great live stream, nice and fast. We're going to move off these guineas. So these guineas are going to head out into the other building. And it'll be a little quieter. Actually, it's not so bad right now, but they can be very noisy. The chickens. Okay, so where did we sit with the chickens? What types of chickens did we initially get? So we got some Isa Brown, some Barred Rock, and some Leghorns. So they were some of the first ones. So that looks like an Isa Brown there. Might not be purebred. We got a Columbian Rock down here, Columbian Rock hen. So everybody seems to be doing good in the transition. I think we lost two chickens, 2 hens, in the move from the other 43, I think, that came in. But everybody seems to be doing good. There's a bunch of them that are outside, and with the weather warming up, it's going to be nice for them to get out. Get rid of that snow. Now the pigeons, gotta watch this Lucy, because as soon as I go into these places, she's right behind me. So, pigeons, as I was saying, these pigeons here, I'm not really sure of the breed. And here's some young ones down here that have just kind of flown the coop, it looks like. Now, we did let them out yesterday, and they were flying around. We had to close them back in, close their little gate that's outside in the closed-in pen, because a lot of them took to the sky and thought, oh, I'm going to hang out here. And we had a couple young pigeons in one of these that didn't make it, because Mom and Dad felt it was more exciting to fly around than to look after their young. So we're going to keep them locked up until it warms up. Okay, coming back out here. Let's see if we can find Judy. Okay, so it's getting pretty mucky. Got the band of bros. How are you guys doing? Where's the rest of your band? Oh, there they are. They're over there. And the ducks and geese are enjoying the dirty water. Yuck. Okay. The sheep, look at this. Oh, just lounging around. Are you enjoying? Look at these guys. The pigs there. One of the kids. The other kids are up here. And so this is the spot here that Judy was. So it's just an old, you know, these were where the drawers went in. It's kind of snowed in, but I think she's in that center one, or she has been in that center one, and it's just kind of built into the side here. So what other types of animals have we had? We got in a truckload, actually a semi-load rescue. That would have been 2005, 2006, I think it was. We didn't realize how many animals were coming in, and we got in a full-size Jersey cow. Oh, we got in a llama, a bunch of pigs, some goats, some chickens, a whole mess of them. So we had expanded, had to expand our fence line a little bit. And we rehomed the llama and the cow to a farm just north of us, about half an hour north of us, to a guy who was wanting to move out to the country and have himself some animals. Living the dream out in the country. So other cows that we've had include, who was that? Mujo and Mocha. Mujo, Mocha, and Midget. So Mujo and Midget were two cows that came in, and we bottle fed them, and then they went off to a 4-H group, a kids group, where they learn about animals, and then they got to bottle feed the cows from there moving forward. So that was the cows that we've had in here. I went over the horses. What else is there? There's the ducks, the Rowan ducks and the blue Swede ducks we got in a little bit later. We've got one Rowan out there and I think one blue Swede. But we've got quite a few ducks this year. There's been a lot that have come in, and we got a lot of interest in people wanting some ducks this spring, so we'll probably get to rehome them. What are you girls doing? Are you excited? Yes. Oh, Mocha and Carly. Coco, sorry, Coco. I got Mocha on the brain. Look at that. Here's the winter fur coming out. So you guys are, even though you were inside, you're still shedding off that winter fur, aren't you? Yes. Yeah. Daisy, where's your sister? Oh, Petunia's over. She's the one that's sitting over there. All right, next animal is the sheep. So these guys here are Turbo, Tinker, and Lambert. So they weren't the first. The first sheep that we had were two called Rosemary and Thyme. Now, Rosemary and Thyme were brought into us. Come here, Turbo. Why don't you sit here? Be in the background. Turbo, now I got everything mixed up. Rosemary and Thyme were two that came in. It was a girl that was living at home, and she was heading off to, I knew he was going to do that, heading off to military. And she didn't have anywhere to take. Okay, come here, bud. Here, you can be right in on this, eh? She didn't have, now he backs off. Of course, her dad didn't want to look after the sheep, so she brought them here, came out, had a look at the place, and brought them over. So those were the first two, and then we got two that came in from a sheep farmer that were in pretty rough shape. And those ones were Lily and Lulu. I had to go back in Facebook and look at the pictures. It was before the 10 Acre Woods Facebook page, so I had to go back and look at mine. Hi, how you doing, Carly? Hi, yes. So then we got in, there was so many, and it's hard to remember. I'm going to forget some, I know it. Some of the other ones were Lambert. So Lambert came in from somebody that had two of them, bottle babies. One of them didn't make it, and she was just concerned about the other one, so she brought him in, and he grew up with, he's over there, he grew up with Lucy. And so he's about 3 or 4 years old, Lambert. And then we got in these other two. So we got in Tinker and Turbo. And they came in from again from a farmer. What happens is Turbo had a number 253 on his back in red. And I think Tinker had a blue number on her. And then there were 2 other ones as well in that mix. And we had complications with them, and we lost the 2 of them fairly young. So these guys here, what happens is when there's a number on them, the farmer numbers them with a number, I guess it was 253 for Turbo. So 2 meaning that was the number of, I think, the bull. And then the female was the color, or vice versa. So that they can distinguish who's who. Now, they weren't thriving in the field, and they didn't look like they were going to do very well. So what happened is the 2 of them and the 2 of the other ones that didn't have numbers, they were triplets, and they will pull triplets. Just because the triplet doesn't usually make it, the runt usually won't make it, which is something we're going to do with our goats this year. So if we do get some of the mamas that have 3, we're going to make sure they get the right colostrum, the amount of colostrum, and then we're going to pull them and bottle feed them. Probably bring them in the house, bottle feed. And they're pretty friendly when you bottle feed, of course, because they imprint onto you much more. So something else is the pigs. So these pigs, of course, weren't the first ones that came in. I'm trying to think. The first pigs we got in were from the semi-load that came in. We got a bunch of piglets from that. And then we've had other ones like Milo. He came in. He was a city pig. And these 2 came in last year. Yeah, last year. They're potbelly pigs. And we had a Juliana Painted Pig that came in. And the story with her was she's pregnant. She was pregnant at the time that he brought her to us, and we had a sale going on over in this area. So bring whatever, just a large community sale. And he had brought this Juliana Painted Pig. So she was pregnant, and he didn't want to take her back. And we said, well, we'd take care of her. We'd buy her from him. And then we would have the young, the little piglets. So they were born here. The Juliana Painted Pig is the smallest breed of pig. They're about 70 to 80 pounds. These pigs here are micro nano pigs. They're not pigs that you'd want to carry around in your purse. They are when they are younger, though. They're quite small. So that's the story with the pigs and the sheep. So some of the other animals I missed, and I'm sure I missed a bunch more, but we had Cooper. So Cooper was Carl's predecessor. And then we had December, and December had Snowy. So it was a small pygmy goat that actually grew up in the house, because December actually had her in December, and it was the first kid goat that we had. And of course we couldn't leave her outside, so we brought her in, and our dog Max and her got along great. So that's about it for this week. So hopefully that live stream is going to go up. I'm planning on uploading this video on Saturday. So Sunday the live stream should be going, and hopefully we get faster internet out here so we can upload and have a nice clear picture. Anyway, that's it for this week. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.